The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
When the static of life fills your brain and the world seems a little too insane, just twist that dial, don't hesitate. There's a haven where good vibes await. Tune in and Take 12 for some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk, the music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
Well, greetings one and all, and welcome to another episode of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show with Jack McCann,
Hola,
Roger McDermott, the Make Believe Take 12 Recovery Radio Orchestra, some useless and mindless information, a wine, we got all sorts of stuff going on, and a special report. And then after the break, we are going to talk about sponsoring old timers. I wonder.
When the shadows of doubt cloud your mind,
Yeah.
and you're searching for a sign to find, we'll play your heartstrings with a tender hum. Remind you you're not alone where you come from. Tune in and Take 12 for some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk and music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
Every week we blow up the studio.
and he rebuilds it overnight.
Roger McDermott from Huntington Beach, California. There he is, looking all patriotic and everything. That's a great shirt.
I love it.
I have a pair of swim trunks like that. Too much information?
TMI, brother. TMI.
And there's Jack McCann from Albany, Oregon.
Howdy, howdy.
This, sadly, is Jack's last show as a regular guest co-host.
Yes.
I'm sure you'll be back. Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
I'm sure you'll be back.
Yes, sir, I will.
Let me see. Let's see. What can I find?
Pictures of the past? Pictures of the past?
Oh, I know what we'll do. In celebration of Jack's last show, let's see. I don't know why, but
That was good, brother. That was good.
How about this?
Hey, Scully. I think I was about 3 or 4 when the show came on.
Yeah, right? We have all sorts of little interesting things. Hey, listen, so I'm not doing an intro to Cecil. I don't think it's Cecil. No, Cecil's not here today. But I didn't have a wine until last night. Marcia and I went to go see How to Train Your Dragon. Phenomenal movie, family movie, wonderful movie, feel-good movie, just a great movie. But we get there, right? And the theater here in town is what you might expect from a town that has nobody living in it. And so there's, like, we go to the counter and you got to reserve your seat. But there's nobody there.
Which theater?
The Regal.
Okay.
So because we went late. We went like at 9:30. So there's nobody there. So we reserve our seat. They say you got to reserve it. So we reserved it. And then we get in there, right? And we're like, yeah, we're a little too close to the screen. So we'd like to back up a couple seats. And the guy was in there, the theater dude guy. And we said, can we move our seats? He goes, you're not permitted to change seats until after the movie has begun. And I'm like, but there's nobody else in here. You are not permitted to change seats until. I'm like, okay, I know my wine. I know what my wine's going to be. And Marcia just cracked up. I'm like, so like, can we get up during the previews? Not until the actual movie has begun.
He does the voice so well.
Oh yeah, so there you go. Hey, we do have some. So go see the movie How to Train Your Dragon. It's great movie. Okay, so time for some useless and mindless information. The number of dimples on a regulation golf ball. Any guesses?
99.
140.
336.
That's what I said.
That's what he said.
There are 32 muscles in a cat's ear. 32.
Ay, Lordy.
But a giraffe can clean its ear with its 21-inch tongue.
Ay, boy.
A giraffe. So I was with Roger when a giraffe. This is true. This happened.
I'm looking at Roger,
I mean-
watching his facial expressions, and he's like doing the same thing I'm doing.
Roger and I were at a place, I think it's called Out of Africa or something like that, in Arizona, a phenomenal place, just incredible. And we're in this buggy cart thing, open air thing, and this giraffe bends down and sticks its tongue out and gives me a little smack on the lips.
Ooh,
Yep.
baby.
I got kissed by a giraffe's tongue.
Baby.
After he cleaned his ear.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it was probably larger than 21 inches.
Hey, Lord.
It was very large.
It was very large. It made Gene Simmons look like nothing, man.
Oh, man.
That's
oh,
right.
Man. This is a...
All right, I'll just give you one more. About 11,000 Americans injure themselves while trying out weird positions. Let's just put it that way.
What?
11,000 Americans a year injure themselves trying different positions.
The level of this conversation has gone so bad.
Oh,
The
Lordy.
start.
Lordy.
We have positions, we have this, we have that.
We have
and
giraffes' tongues. All right, this is
Oh,
disintegrating quickly.
Okay.
We,
It did.
we better get to our special report here.
He's
Where
going to
is
eliminate
that?
all this, I think.
This is a Take 12 Recovery Radio Special Report, a presentation of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting. And now, here's the Montyman with this month's recovery news in focus.
That's right. I am the Montemon. The Montemon. What is it about British people? It makes them sound smarter than they are. They're really not smarter than that, but it's just the Montemon. The Montemon. The Montemon. Whatever.
It's the enunciation of how they go about it.
All right, so Marcia sent this to me, and I thought it was very interesting. Limited usage of Portland's sobering beds prompts county to cast larger net to connect with people in crisis. This was in the Oregonian just the other day. Multnomah County, which is what encompasses Portland, for those of you who are not from this area, opened 13 sobering beds, they're calling them, in April for severely intoxicated people to sober up at any time of the day, but very few have actually used those beds. Well, yeah.
What was the cost of those 13 beds?
Oh, well, yeah, we'll get to that. So, for severely intoxicated people, what? I'd like to know what that means. Severely. Can't stand up?
Passed out?
Pass out, baby. That prompted the county this week to announce that it is broadening access to its sobering services. The county is tapping a select group of organizations that specialize in mental health and drug addiction to refer people who are substance impaired to those beds. Until now, only police could connect people to the sobering services. Quote, I'm really happy to see the list of referral partners that have been added, Commissioner Julia Brim Edwards said in a public meeting Tuesday. The need for this is very real. I'm hoping this will get full utilization of the temporary sobering beds. As of Friday of last week, only 26 people had used the sobering beds since April, officials said. Almost all of those individuals were referred to the beds through deflection. the county's program to steer people caught with street drugs into treatment and other services instead of jail. Police cannot bring someone to the sobering beds unless they volunteer to go. In most cases, if police run into someone who is intoxicated and can't take care of themselves, officers will find a safe place to hold that person or take them to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. The 3.6 million deflection and sobering center is a temporary facility that the county is using.
Yeah, for 24 people in 3 months.
The deflection program, by proxy, the county's sobering services rely heavily on law enforcement to help them. Of the 62 people referred to deflection from January 1 to March 31st, 6 people completed the program. And this is what they mean by completing it. This means that they signed the necessary release forms and worked with deflection staff to develop a care plan. Those plans include referrals to services like detox, beds, mental health treatment, and shelter. That's compared to 37 who completed deflection from September 1 to December 31st, when 210 people were referred to the program, according to the county's report. So out of 212 people that were referred to the program, only 37 signed a paper and agreed to do aftercare. And I don't know about you guys, but in my experience, most people that are out on the streets that are signing those things and are agreeing to do aftercare don't do it.
Yep. No consequences.
So what do you think about this? I'm all in favor of helping. I'm all in favor of getting people off the street and sobering them up. And there's some people that aren't addicts and they're not alcoholics, but they were just dingbats and they went out and they got too high, or you know what I mean? And maybe this is a wake up call for them, and that's helpful. But I don't know. What do you think, Roger?
Well, I mean, from our context, there was no mention of AA or 12 steps.
Nope.
It would seem to me that if they really wanted to help them, they would offer some sort of recovery program like Alcoholics Anonymous or something along those lines. I don't know what aftercare means. But
I don't either. What does that mean? If you're spending $3.6 million of my tax dollars, I'd kind of like to know what that means.
Yeah, and I'd like to know what the results have been.
Doesn't look like too many people are cashing
So
in
you're
on-
saying this is costing $300,000 per month, basically, to run this operation.
Yeah.
I'd like
Wow.
to know what their mission statement is and what their purpose is.
Yeah.
And what's the
I mean, all they talked
Sobering
about was
beds.
hoping to fill the 13 beds, but why?
So
What purpose?
one of my sponsees is the director of a transition home, let's call it. And it's not just people that have drug and alcohol issues that have come out of treatment. It's also people that maybe ran into some hard times. Maybe dad passed away and they lost their home or something, right? And they just need a place to live for a short period of time until they make transition and make other arrangements. And here's the thing. So I was talking to my buddy Johnny, and he said, so the requirement to be funded by the state is that anybody checking in has to be making a minimum of $1,200 a month already to be considered low income. They have to be making at least, this is how it's worded, at least $1,200 a month to be considered low income. If they're not making $1,200 a month, then they're considered homeless. And you're not allowed to house them in this facility if they're homeless. I'm like, what? I don't get it. And so here's the big clincher. Unless they fill a certain amount of those beds,
They lose their funding.
they lose their funding completely. So it's like they make it impossible for Johnny and his staff to help people, right, that need the help. But if they can't help them, then they close it down.
And this comes from the state of Oregon that allows rampant drug use to be prevalent on the streets of Portland.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah,
and
it's okay.
We're just going to slap your hand and send you on your way.
In fact, well, hey, come on over here. We got a clean needle exchange, and you can shoot up your drugs and everything. I mean, we got a treatment center upstairs if you're interested. But come on in and get high on us.
Yeah.
I don't know. So bless their hearts. I hope my mentor Chris S. said, he lives in New Jersey. He goes, I just realized what that term "bless their hearts" really means.
What does it mean, Monty?
I ain't going there.
Come on, brother.
Ask the giraffe. All right, there's a little recovery news and focus there for you to chew on. We'll be back with the topic sponsoring old timers. What the heck are we talking about when we come back? So don't you dare move a muscle.
This has been a Take 12 Recovery Radio special report. For more recovery radio broadcasts, visit our website at take12radio.com and subscribe free on any of the podcast platforms listed there.
Hey everybody, come celebrate with me and the incredible recovery community of Lynn County, Oregon as we gather together for the 11th annual Recovery in the Park. Tuesday, July 22nd from 5 to 8:30 p.m. at beautiful Bryant Park, Albany, Oregon. We're going to have live music, raffles, community resource fair, activities for the kids, and free burgers and dogs. So come on and celebrate with me and all my friends at this year's Recovery in the Park. Tuesday, July 22nd from 5 to 8:30 p.m. at beautiful Bryant Park, Albany, Oregon.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Woohoo!
Get down with your bad recovery self.
Awesome music.
Hey, if you ever feel like you're stuck in your recovery, I'm just going to meetings and I'm just getting bored and blah, 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 blah. Oh, I got a book for you. It's called 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety by our good friend and recovery author, Dr. Alan Berger. Go to his website, ABPHD. That's abphd.com for your autographed copy. 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety, Getting Your Recovery Unstuck. There you go. There's that. What were you going to say about my...
How's your wrist?
Oh, my wrist. So I did a tiny Band-Aid. I had carpal tunnel surgery on it a couple weeks ago. And one little stitch, little tiny stitch, and about not even a quarter of an inch cut, little, whatever you call that. Incision. Yeah, just one. Used to be they'd have to open up this whole area and do all this crazy stuff. Just a little tiny thing. And I get my one stitch out today after the show. Yay, I'm so excited. But the pain from the carpal tunnel that you get in the middle of the night, that is just excruciating.
That burning?
Totally gone. Completely gone as soon as they did it. I had owie soreness. There's a difference between sore and excruciating pain. You know what I mean? It's just annoyingly sore, but that was it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, really good stuff. Yes. Okay. So the lineup for this week, Wednesday's show coming up, the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast, we're going to be talking about sugar addiction with Alicia Martinez, of course.
Coffee.
That's her favorite topic.
And coffee.
Sugar addiction. We're going to be talking about that. And then Friday, this is so cool. Friday is our debut show of our brand new podcast, Buddha Time. Step up to the front of the line with Tommy Buddha. And it's all positive stuff. He's going to have guests on. Our first guest is a gentleman who's a music collaborator, Emily.
MC?
No. The award. Emmy.
Oh.
Emmy nominated.
Wow.
Emmy nominated.
I was lost.
Music creator, Static. from South Carolina is going to be on the show. This guy is involved in helping so many people, and he's got a story of recovery to beat the band as well. So he's going to be featured on Friday's brand new podcast. Take 12 Recovery Radio Network is producing this show and bringing it to you for fun and for free. So now we have 3 shows a week. We have this show, the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show, on Mondays. On Wednesday, we have the Came to Believe Recovery podcast. And then on Fridays, we have Buddha Time with Tommy Buddha. Step up to the front of the line.
Awesome, brother. Awesome.
So 3 regular. Marcia goes, "You're supposed to be retired." I went, "Oops." Oops. Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, Friday is July 4th, by the way. So we're excited about launching that podcast on July 4th. All righty. Remember, you can listen to all of those shows if you don't hear them the day that they drop. That's what they call it. They drop them or post them, right? You can just go to our website and click on any of the podcasting platforms listed there. You can listen to the shows all the way back. There's like over 1,000 of them there that you can listen to. Okay, sponsoring old timers. Sponsoring old timers. So I've got a little bit of an article I want to read to you guys, and then we'll kind of comment on it. So first of all, we probably ought to define what that means, old timers, right?
Yes.
Now some would say, there's no such thing as an old timer. I'm a newcomer every time I walk into the meeting. Been sober 148 years, but I'm still a newcomer. Let's address that real quick. What do you think about that, Roger? I'm still a newcomer.
What is that? Explain yourself. What does that mean?
I think, and Jack, don't you think when we hear that, it's somebody that is, they are in a good way trying to explain that they are still learning and that they're still teachable and all that kind of stuff, or are they kind of bragging?
I don't know if it's bragging so much. Remaining teachable is an awesome thing. I mean, I learn every time I come in here and listen to you or Roger or the other guest about different approaches on how they go about it. But when you throw that out there, the newcomer that's actually somebody that's just walking in off the street or beginning of a struggle of learning how to become alcohol-free, it might send the wrong message of
good
they
point.
don't have this. So...
Yeah.
Well, if you share that way, that's one thing. If you're making a point about constantly learning and growing and experiencing new things, that's one thing.
Yes.
But to identify yourself as a newcomer when you have multiple years of sobriety is sort of, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's kind of defeating that part of being able to share that it works.
It's sort of a strange way to be self-absorbed.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think you guys are right.
It's very counterproductive in all actuality.
Yeah. So I lost my train of thought. Okay. So when I consider, I kind of think a newcomer is somebody in their first year. You know,
I would say so.
Yeah. And so somebody was saying, was it on a show or I can't even remember now, but about once we get a year, maybe we should stop taking our chips. I mean, why are you continuing to take, talk about, I'm all for celebrating your birthday. I think it's great because I think it, for the purpose of showing people that, listen, you can stay sober, you can stay clean for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 30 years. You can do it. People do it all the time.
Yes.
And here's a guy that just celebrated 45 years. You can do it too. But at the same time, if you're like in your 15th, 30th year or whatever, what do you want accolades for doing what you're supposed to be doing anyway? I mean, so there's kind of that, you know what I mean?
Well, the purpose of taking chips is to report to the newcomers, to the people who have less time, exactly how well it works. It's not to pat myself on the back.
No, it really is.
It's to testify about how this program has power and truth and love, and that's what it's all about.
And that's why the person celebrating 35 years they should be cutting the cake and serving the newcomer.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
I was told by the guy that actually started this journey with me back just before you took over, Monty. He says the birthday chip is not for you; it's for the newcomer.
Amen.
Showing that you can do this, whether you have 1 day, 1 year, or 10 years. It's for the newcomer, saying that if I can do this, you can too.
So an old timer I don't believe here's my little opinion. An old timer is not defined by how old they are. The little animated promo graphic that I made had a picture of people that were elderly in a meeting room, as kind of tongue in cheek. But an old timer can be somebody who's, maybe they came in when they were 9 years old. I knew a kid that came in when he was 9 years old, and he's 14, and he was an active alcoholic at 14, 15, 16, 21. He's an old timer. Yes. There are people that are old timer that simply attend meetings, and then there are people that are and they're an old timer because they've been around a long time. But I don't like assigning, if there's such a thing, assigning that title to somebody that's really has never actually done the steps or had a spiritual awakening as a result of the steps. I think a true old timer is somebody that's been around a while, somebody who has experienced a state of recovered as a result of applying and implementing the 12 steps.
Amen.
And it's somebody who's giving that away in one form or another. That's what I consider an old timer. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Roger.
I would agree. I don't know that. I mean, I have people refer to me that way, and I don't know. I don't want to be an old timer. I want to be a guy that's part of the fellowship that's been around for a while. I don't know what old timer means. It's got weird. I think that some of us have weird connotations about it. First of all, are you just old in years?
Yeah.
Are you old in experience? What exactly is if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in a meeting and in the fellowship and outside and being of service, and someone expresses that as being an old timer, I'm blessed by that.
Sure.
But I don't know. The word, the term has a lot of strange connotations, I think. So I don't know. I don't know if it's appropriate or inappropriate.
It makes me think of a gold prospector.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
somewhere.
I don't. There's part of me that don't call me an old timer, even though I'm old in age.
Hey, old timer.
I'm young at heart and young in the mind. I don't know.
I think it probably came about as an affectionate term.
I do. I think it's a term of endearment.
Term of endearment, yeah.
I don't refer to people that way. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let's talk about sponsoring old timers, so to speak. Okay, nowhere, and I'm going to read this article to you, nowhere in the first 164 pages in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous does it tell the newcomer or any other member of AA to get a sponsor. I hear it all the time in the rooms of AA. Get a sponsor. Call your sponsor every day, and don't make any decisions until you talk to your sponsor. I heard one fellow in the rooms of AA say, "My sponsor told me to call him every day." He replied, "But you're out of town for the next 2 weeks." His sponsor replied, "I said you're to call me every day. I didn't say I would talk to you every day." Incredible. I couldn't believe my ears when I heard this, touted as a sound strategy for helping the newcomer recover. Furthermore, I hear other sponsees share about how dependent they are on their sponsors for advice and counseling in medical, psychological, financial, legal, and relationship matters. They won't make any decisions about anything until they talk to their sponsors. It's no wonder why the rooms of AA are wrought with codependent members unable to function independently without being handheld and spoon-fed by their sponsors. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Bill W. writes, and this is AA Grapevine in the article, The Dilemma of No Faith. He writes, though 300,000 have recovered in the last 25 years, maybe half a dozen more have walked into our midst and then out again. We can't well content ourselves with the view that all these recovery failures were entirely the fault of the newcomer themselves. Perhaps a great many didn't receive the kind and amount of sponsorship they sorely needed. We didn't communicate when we might have done so. So we AAs failed them. Any AA who has not experienced this is in the sponsorship pamphlet, and this is Clarence Snyder saying this. Any AA who has not experienced the joys and satisfaction of helping another alcoholic regain his place in life has not yet fully realized the complete benefits of this fellowship. That's 1944 article. So here's a question. What does the Big Book reference 123 times in the first 88 pages? Answer: alcoholics working with other alcoholics. And by working with another alcoholic, the Big Book doesn't mean a sponsor. It specifically means two alcoholics working together, putting the AA program into action. That's right. So this whole idea of sponsor, so we kind of identified what an old timer was. This whole idea of sponsorship, okay, you know, they used to take guys, you know, out of the sanitariums and off the bar stools and give them a place to live on their farm, and they'd help till the soil, and, you know, or they would pay their hospital bill for them and therefore become a sponsor. That's where that whole thing came from. And so it is very much literally like somebody who is kind of paying your tab until you get well and that kind of thing. But nowhere in the Big Book does it actually use the term sponsor like we are commonly doing.
That's almost like indentured servitude right there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know, so I'm gonna cop to this. In my early experience as a sponsor, I did tell my sponsees, call me every day for 30 days. I did tell them that. Now, I think the heart behind it was good. Yeah, I'm going to sponsor you. I want you to stay accountable and learn how to do that. If you can't pick up a phone, you know, that kind of thing. But it didn't take me long to realize, wait a minute, I don't see that in the book anywhere. And what if you don't call me? I'm going to fire you? You know what I mean? I don't do that anymore. I think the job of a sponsor, if we're going to use that term, is to take a person through the 12 steps, in this case, Alcoholics Anonymous, in other cases, whatever 12-step program you're in, and give away what you were taught to them, lay that spiritual toolkit at their feet, and then set them free.
Amen.
I agree. I don't know that I've ever told anybody. I mean, I view sponsorship totally different than I did in the beginning.
Yes, me too.
But I don't remember my sponsor telling me to call him every day. And what I tell people is I'm happy to share anything and everything that I have learned in the fellowship through the 12 steps and the power of God and being of service with you. But I look him in the eye and I say, let me make this clear. This is your program, your sobriety, and your life.
Awesome.
And you don't have to ask me, you know, when you can go to the bathroom, when you can. I'll give you as much as I can, but I'll put in as much investment in you as you put into yourself. I'm not going to sit. So just because I have a really, really full schedule, professionally and personally and in recovery, I don't have time to sit down and read the book page by page with you. You read the book. You circle, highlight, ask questions, write down questions, utilize this workbook that I give you, and we will do that together. So if that's what you want, I'm happy to be alongside of you and help you with everything I can.
Sure.
But it's your program, it's your sobriety, and it's your life. And here we go. Let's go. But you pray about everything, worry about nothing, follow the steps, do the workbook, read the book, go to meetings, get in the middle, get a commitment. That's what I was told to do. My sponsor did not sit down and read the book with me. He didn't. He said, it's your program, it's your book, you read the book, and we talk about it. And so I'm like, okay. And when he passed away last December, and I love that man. He was an amazing example of precisely what the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous is, was, and does,
Yeah.
and so forth. He would be the first guy at every meeting I ever saw him to walk up to the newcomer after the meeting and ask him, shake their hand, give him his phone number, and say, I'm here, I can help you if you'd like some help, or maybe he'd have a comment about something they shared, or whatever. But he was always welcoming, loving, kind, but also extremely truthful. He didn't coddle, and he didn't coddle me, he didn't coddle newcomers, but he loved them with the truth.
Awesome.
So this quote comes from the AA Big Book. To show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book. And should that not be the main purpose of its members who have had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps?
Yes.
I'm going to show you precisely how I've recovered. I'm not
Yes.
going to show you how I'm in recovery, because I'm not in recovery. I've recovered. I attend recovery fellowships. I'm in recovery in the sense of that, but I'm not still sick. Right. I've had the obsession's been removed. Like the book says, it doesn't exist for me anymore. Right. So I can show you how I recovered, how the damage, I've recovered from the damage.
Yes.
Like we were talking about last
Yes.
week, huh, Jack?
Yes.
So I do sit down with them and read, especially if they've never, ever seen the book before. And I'll sit down with them and read. We did that.
Yes,
right,
we did.
Right, Jack? But I get it. I get it. And so, so comment on what Jack, why don't you comment on what Roger just said?
Working with somebody to the extent that they want to work with you, they have to put in the effort, because if they don't, then it's kind of all moot. We're right back to where we started at.
Right.
And how many have you went to sponsor, and 2 or 3 meetings, and they're done. They don't want to follow any slight direction, which is read the book. Everything you want is in the book. If you have a question, ask me. I'll give you the answers of how I've grown to live my life, and what somebody a long time ago told me. Spend a year in these rooms. Learn what you can. Read the book. Surround yourself, as Roger said, get in the middle of the herd. Surround yourself with a lot of good folks. Learn from these folks, and then go live your life, because sitting in the room 24/7 is not going to be the answer. You got to apply these principles out of that book and out of another big book, called the Bible, on how to live your life, live the Biff's life. And that right there, that's an example that we want to share with the newcomer. This is how your life can become. You make it your own. But
So what you just said, you could, when a person comes back to you and things aren't working well, you could just say again, couldn't you?
yes, 100%.
I mean, so let's talk about, okay, so sponsoring an old timer though, somebody that's been around, who's had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, they're giving away, they're doing the deal. So when Jack asked me what the topic was, I said sponsoring the old timer. I said that's the hook, right? In journalism, they call it the hook. It may not be what we're going to talk about at all. It's just a hook to get you to listen or tune in. That's kind of what this is. So Jack refers to me as his sponsor, ongoing
friend.
Yeah, but our relationship has gone from somebody who is helping him apply and implement the 12 disciplines that are in that book to being a friend, a brother in the Lord. He considers me a sponsor, but it's not this. It's really not the same relationship as early on.
It's transcended the beginning levels of being a sponsor, mentor, brother. We've transcended those, and now it's like, hey, I have a question for you, brother. Tell me what you think about this.
Right. And so, Chris Schroeder is my mentor, right? I don't have a sponsor in the traditional sense, because those who have sponsored me have now become my mentors.
Yes.
I have 5 people on a regular basis that I'm accountable to, 5 men in my life that have permission to call me on my stuff anytime they think I'm going sideways. And they're mentors. They're people I respect. They're not perfect, thank God. They have their own flaws and they have their own issues. Not all of them are in a recovery program, but they're all connected to God, and and so there's this relationship. It's changed, right? And I think we move. The whole purpose of the 12 steps is to move on from wherever you're at today, and grow and mature.
Exactly.
And living in 10, 11, and 12. So I'm going to say something that's not going to be very popular.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. I don't know that you always need a sponsor.
Bingo.
As we talk about what sponsors is in the traditional sense. Do we always need mentors in our life? I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
But
I
do we
agree.
always need somebody to take us by the hand and walk us down the rosy path of the 12 steps? No, I don't think so.
You might want to check your camera.
Okay, camera, are you back on?
I was in there.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I agree with you 100% because sometimes it's not so much the sponsorship
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
that comes into play. It's that person to bounce ideas off of because you're both doing wonderful things in your life. But it's like, hey, God, what am I doing wrong or right here? And God works through that person that
Yeah.
you want to grab a hold of and say, hey, help me for a moment.
So what do you think, Roger, about that statement I made? I don't know that you always need a sponsor. Think I'm going to get an email?
Uh-oh.
No, when my sponsor died, I didn't ask somebody to be my sponsor. So I look at it as a brotherhood. Mentors, absolutely. Sponsor in the traditional sense, I have so many people that I can talk to about various issues. I haven't asked anybody to be my sponsor since mine died, December 30th of 2024.
Sorry
And
for your loss.
he's been my sponsor since the very, very beginning. And when he passed, I didn't have a need or a sense of having somebody else stand into his shoes because you couldn't walk into his shoes.
Yes.
In terms of the relationship I had with him. And so, but that doesn't mean I can't go to anybody in our fellowship or outside of our fellowship and get input, get prayer, get
Amen.
discussion,
Amen.
get whatever is going on. It's like lots of people call me their sponsor, and I'm like, it's okay if you want to call me that, but I'm your friend. I'm your brother. When you got stuff going on, let's talk about it. Let's go to God and find out what the answer. Let's see what the big book says. What does the Bible say? That's what Dr. Bob would say. When he got asked questions, he'd say, what does the good book say?
Yeah.
He didn't have a sponsor. Bob didn't have a sponsor. Neither did Bill in the beginning, right?
Right.
What they did was they took him through the steps. Originally, the 6 steps, the Oxford group.
Mhm.
They prayed about everything. They had certain scriptures and books that they read. They read Sermon on the Mount, 1 Corinthians 13, the book of James. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And when they told people to follow the direction that came from the big book, right? And well, the good book, the Bible, and the 6 steps of the Oxford group, that's what they did, and the 4 absolutes. So they had principles that they applied to every discussion. Yes. They had principles that they applied to everything in life. They didn't go ask somebody else about the concept. So I don't, and if somebody were to call me an old timer and ask me, do I need a sponsor? I would say I do not need a sponsor.
Right.
I need God. I need fellowship. I need brotherhood. I need mentors, people that I respect that have more time than me, that I would want to share and talk with and pray with and listen to what's going on in their life. But I wouldn't call them a sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a number of guys that I've sponsored in the past that one of them in particularly, somebody asked him, won't you call your sponsor anymore? He goes, no. I see him about once a month because he'll show up at my home group about once a month. And but I see what's happening on social media with him. I mean, if I want to check in on him, I can anytime I want to because you know, the beauty of the internet and all that. But he's a productive member of society. He's giving back to society. He's helping people. He isn't somebody that attends a meeting 3 times a week. He maybe goes to an AA meeting to get his chip, or he goes to an AA meeting once a month. But he is actively serving people all the time, right? Success,
That's what. Yeah, that's
Right?
why I like the definition of sponsor as spiritual person offering newcomers suggestions on recovery.
Yeah, that's great.
And
That's a mentor,
I don't
man.
think that's a title. I think
No.
that's a concept,
That's
and
a
I
concept.
think that's a principle.
Right.
And I think that's what Bill and Bob would say if they were here.
Yeah.
Is it so much being a mentor is more so just being a friend that we need at that moment?
Yeah.
Follow my lead. This is what I've done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
stick out your hand.
So I know people are going, oh my gosh, the Monty Man saying you don't need it sponsored. No, go rewind and listen again. I didn't say that. What I'm
didn't say
saying
that
is,
either.
at this point in my life, the people that I will take a newcomer through the steps. But once I've
Sure,
done that and I'm
absolutely.
convinced, because in the book several times it says being convinced before you go to the next part, right?
Yes.
Once I'm convinced and they're convinced that they've had a spiritual awakening as a result of that work, fly birdie, fly little birdie. Now you go do that.
That's what you told me too.
And
Yeah.
that's the point.
Right.
That's the whole purpose.
When I sponsor somebody, hopefully I'm teaching them how to do the same thing
And live.
and live
That's it.
and live
And
their
that's
life.
exactly what I learned from my sponsor. I
Yeah.
emulated everything that he said and did because I saw him in action, and it produced wonderful, godly results.
Yes.
Page 132 of the Big Book. We have recovered and have been given the power to help others. Page 102. But if you are shaky, you had better work with another alcoholic. It doesn't say you got to be a sponsor, but you might want to sit down with another alcoholic and
Absolutely.
help them.
And they don't have to be an alcoholic, by the way.
No,
Just
they
in
do
sense
not.
of helping
Oh,
somebody.
Lord, you went out of the confines of the
Uh-oh.
program there.
Uh-oh. Yeah, right. Page 97. Helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery. A kindly act once in a while isn't enough. Helping others. It doesn't say who they are. It just says others.
Exactly.
It just says others. Service work does not have to be confined within the fellowship.
It doesn't.
Oh,
No.
What's it say? The primary purpose of the book is to be of maximum service to God and
Yep.
to others. It doesn't say to alcoholic addicts.
And here, listen to this. Spiritual dependence, not sponsored codependence.
Amen.
That's a powerful term right there.
Yeah.
Ever
Powerful word.
notice in the rooms when you walk in, there's a little sign and some of them says, I am responsible whenever a newcomer reaches out their hand. I don't remember all the whole complete phrase, but I am responsible as a member of Alcoholics Anonymous whenever a newcomer comes in the room and they reach out their hand. I want to be
Yep.
the hand that's there. So
Absolutely.
Amen. Amen.
Absolutely. 100%.
Another thing I hear, this is in the article, another thing I hear all the time is, who's your sponsor? When I reply, I don't have a sponsor, I get endless tirade of, a person who sponsors themselves is a fool for a sponsor. Now, when I came into the program, I had someone sit down with me and show me how to work the steps. After working the steps, he then told me to show others how to work the steps. And that's what I've been doing for the past several years, teaching others how to work the 12 steps and how to teach others to work the 12 steps. Occasionally, I will call the man who showed me how it works.
yep.
This is a general statement that I don't like making, but typically when someone makes that comment,
Mm-hmm.
they're relatively new to the program and probably haven't done the 12 steps.
They're parroting what they're hearing in meetings.
They're parrot. Those are words they maybe heard in a meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't sponsor myself. I'm accountable to God and to others.
Yes.
This one of the phrases that I really, really just is like nails on a chalkboard to me is, I've been in the fellowship now for 22 years, and what I've learned is that the more I learn, the less I know. And I'm like, well, then you're in trouble, because if you know less than you did before, how in the heck can you apply principles that you know less of now? I hope that I know more. I hope I've gained some insight, and I know more than I did when I came in. Now, I understand the heart behind that. It's supposed
I
to
do
be a
too.
heart of humility.
Right.
I'm not saying I know everything, but you got to be careful with that statement. Somebody told me that when I was new, I probably wouldn't approach them for help. Well, if you don't know anything, why do I want to talk to you?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, knowledge is, you apply knowledge through the principles and you gain wisdom. And wisdom is what our experiences are. If you have no experiences and no wisdom, well, why would I go to you for input?
Or how about this one? I don't know anything. I know nothing.
I'm a blank canvas.
And then they'll talk for 20 minutes
About knowing nothing.
about knowing nothing. I know one guy. We I'm not gonna say his name,
Okay.
but he will talk about. Well, my sponsor told me that if I share about humility, that I'm not really being humble, and then he'll share for 20 minutes on humility.
Yeah, that's
Quite a concept.
no comment.
Listen to how easy this is. How simple this whole living in the go. What the CEO of Came to Leave Recovery refers to as living in the go. This is at the end of the day. In the evening, after making our review, so I kind of inventory my day, right? We ask God forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures we should take. That's it. In the morning, we consider our plans for the day, but before what? Before we consider our plans, we ask God to direct our thinking. There it is. That's it.
I say thank
Now
you.
go live. Now go live your life.
Before I even crawl out of bed, because the knees don't work so well as far as getting down and praying on my knees, I say thank you, God, for another day before I get out of bed.
And look how simple it is.
It's simple.
I don't have to go to my sponsor's house and mow his lawn and wash his car because I'm willing to go to any length. Oh, give me a break. That's just abuse. You know, are you reviewing your day? Are you asking God to show you where you maybe need to correct some things?
Yes.
And when you get up in the morning before you make your plans, are you asking God to direct your thinking? Very simple. Well, no, I didn't do that this morning. Okay. That's okay. Do it tomorrow morning.
Well, you can do it any moment.
Or
of the
do it
day.
any moment. Yeah, you can.
You can do it any time.
I mean, if you want to, you can crawl back into bed and then get back up again. Somebody told me that one time. I went, yeah, okay, whatever. But
Reset button. On Sunday mornings, I try to go to meetings Sunday mornings. A good friend of mine I've known for almost 40 years. Not you, Monty, but another guy.
Yeah.
We go to a local shopping market, and we walk through the aisles, and we both do a little bit of shopping, and we have a little meeting ourselves.
Sweet.
And it's been ongoing for the last couple of years. And I mentor him, he mentors me.
yeah,
And it's been a wonderful thing. And I'm appreciative.
that's cool
of those
stuff.
things. Yes.
Jack, we're gonna miss you, buddy. Thanks for stepping in as a
Yes,
guest
Jack,
co-host.
indeed. God
Thank
bless
you,
you.
Roger.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your enthusiasm and your input, brother. It's helped me in a lot of things. You might not know that. And I did get my lawn mowed. Monty, thank you for opening up the studio in your home as always, and I love you, brother. Love you both guys. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Yep.
much.
Love you too. Love back at you.
Thank you so much, Roger, and thank you. We'll be seeing you not too far in the near future. If not
Yes.
on the show, we'll be seeing you in Pasadena.
Yes, you will.
Happy 4th of July
Well, you're going to see
early.
me before Pasadena, aren't you?
Before so Pasadena's in August.
Yes. August.
No,
We're gonna see.
I won't. I'm not going to Honolulu.
Oh, okay. So
I
August
like
is the
saying
next
that Honolulu.
Hawaii.
So Pasadena in August. September is, I think, Vegas, and then October is Fresno.
Yes.
And no, we're not going to gamble or any of that, folks. Don't get all upset. We're going to Vegas to teach the 12 steps in 3 days to people that need to be recovered.
Yes.
There's lots of things to do in Las Vegas that have nothing to do with gambling.
Dude.
I want to go. I don't know if they're still in business, but the guys who did the TV show Tanked, the acrylic aquarium people.
Oh, I'd love to go there.
Oh man!
And see that operation. Of
Oh
those guys.
man!
You should go into
Yeah.
the huge Ferris wheel that looks like fish tanks. They do not move themselves as far as the level. They stay level the whole time. As
Oh
they're
yeah.
going.
See,
Oh,
Marsha will not
Yeah.
go up in something like that.
I
She
was-
I
will
love
not
that.
do
That
it.
show is so fun. And there's Pawn Stars too. You got to go to the Pawn Stars.
dude, yes.
If they're not in jail, they get themselves in trouble.
They're not in jail. I've been to that.
Yeah, they got. Well, I don't know about now, but they got into a little hot water.
Chumley.
Not
Was
the,
it Chumley
not
that
the
got
two
in the hot
main
water?
guys. It was
Chumley.
Chumley. It
Poor
wasn't.
Poor
it wasn't
Chumley.
Rick or
And Rick's
son.
son.
Chumley's back.
Is he back?
Yeah.
He dropped
He's
some
never,
weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything I want to pawn that I know. Marsha might want to pawn me, but it probably wouldn't get too much.
I don't think they buy you money.
They'd be going. We don't need to ask for a specialist to come in and check him out. We know what's wrong with this.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, our closing song is by Michael Purrington and the Messengers, and it is entitled "The Light in the Dark." Here's Michael.
There's a light in the dark, leads me on my way, turns my mind around when my thoughts have gone astray. No time like the present to free your troubled heart. Open up to the light in the dark. There's a world of wonders that awaits you every day. Live out every moment and give it all away. Given time, you will find there's a light in the dark that leads you on your way. Turn your mind around when your thoughts have gone astray. No time like the present to free your troubled heart. Open up to the light in the dark. Or poor, for the poisoned and imprisoned, searching for an open door. Up ahead, just around the bend, there's a light in the dark, leads us on our way, turns our minds around when our thoughts have gone astray. No time like the present to free your troubled heart. Open up to the light in the dark. Open up, open up, open up. Open up to the light in the dark. There's a light in the dark, leads us on our way, turns our minds around when our thoughts have gone astray. No time like the present to free your troubled heart. Open up to the light in the dark. Open up to the light in the
dark. Michael Purrington and his band, The Messengers, The Light in the Dark. All right, a very special thank you to Roger McDermott, co-host and Take 12 Recovery Radio contributor from Huntington Beach, California, and my good friend and buddy, Mr. Jack McCann from Albany, Oregon. It's been so good to have you on, man. And you have an open invitation. That seat is yours anytime you like.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you betcha. All right, until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man, along with the rest of the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for You.
Don't let the weights of the past keep you down. There's a melody here to turn it around. In each story and song you'll find a friend, a chorus of courage that'll never end.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.